Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Worlds Collide, production by NRD Forge. My name is Mitch,
And I'm Justin.
and today we're talking about.
The Runaways.
So hopefully some of you guys have watched the Hulu show, The Runaways. They've got 2 seasons out so far. Third season will be coming out soon.
Yeah, when's the third season launching? The next couple months or?
Next couple of months, I'd imagine.
Yeah, okay.
So today we're going to be talking about the show, what we like, what we don't like, and also I'll be going over their comic counterpart and showing the differences between the show and the comic.
And there's a lot.
There's a lot. There's big differences.
Big differences. Okay, so that is good because you're probably all caught up on the show.
Yes.
And I managed to just catch up on the last episode. I got about to season. In season 2, I got to episode 4, and then I had to just bridge the gap and find out where it wrapped up. So
That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, what we'll do is we'll get you to cover the show a little bit because it's been a couple of months since I watched the show.
Okay, great.
And then I'll go over the comics to make the comparison.
That sounds like a good place to start. Why don't we start with the origin?
All right. Well, okay. So the origin in the show and the comic are very similar.
Okay, good.
So the origin of the Runaways is a group of kids who are friends mainly because their parents are friends. Their parents are part of an organization called Pride. Once a year, they would get together for this
Ceremony?
No, well, the cover is there. It's a benefit, a volunteer benefit kind of thing. And so once a year they would get together for their benefit meeting, and the kids would, as the parents are doing their meetings, the kids would gather and do their thing. And they would do this every year for like 12 years or whatever.
And that's why when you see the kids, they don't really get along that well.
Not anymore.
They're kind of like, hey, I've known you all my life.
Yeah.
But we travel in different circles.
Yeah.
We flow in different packs here.
Yeah.
So when they get together at that, it's kind of the jock, the nerd, the brain.
And that's one thing I need to talk about the show and the comic itself. Is they're very, very. It's a very diverse cast, but almost to the point where it's almost like they needed to cover all the grounds. Like they had the token black. Well, none of them are tokens, but they have to have a black kid. They have to have an Asian girl. They have to have a Hispanic girl. They have to have a jock. They have to have. So it's very diverse, but it's one of all the different stereotypes that you would expect in a group.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, it's a good way of putting it, I'd say. And then each of their parents kind of follow the same trait.
That's right.
Right? It's kind of like father, like son, like mother, like daughter, right?
That's right. More so.
Well, except for with the Wilders. I'd say with the Wilders, I forget his name. Alex.
Yeah.
Him and his parents. Because his parents come from the streets. They're kind of thug mercenaries, right?
And Alex grew up as...
He's the brain.
Yes.
He's the brain.
Yeah.
Now, they're brains.
They kind of like...
Not to his degree.
No. Well, yeah, they're more street smart.
Yes.
Whereas he is very everything else smart. But then again, on the completely opposite side, the Chase... what's their family name? 1 second here.
Oh, thank you, KG Rose, there for the subscription. 2 months in a row here.
Nice. So we have Chase is Steins, the Steins.
Yeah, the jock.
Yeah. So yeah, he's the jock, and his parents are like inventors and mad scientists.
Yeah. And then you got the Hispanic girl and Gerd.
Yeah.
The adoptive sisters. Now, I don't know if they're both adoptive.
No.
Or if it's just
Gertrude.
Molly.
Yeah, Molly is adopted. Gertrude is their actual daughter.
Right.
The Steins, I believe.
And they're kind of like the activists.
Yeah, in the show, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll talk about the show first, then we'll get into the comics.
And do the personas change between show and comic? Or are they still the activists? Or are they still kind of the political?
A lot of that
correct?
changed. A lot of that changed. Yes. A lot has changed.
Interesting. Okay, so where should we cover first?
The show first.
Starting with season 1. We got their pride meeting. The benefact goes down. I mean, they're what? How old are they in the show at this point? 15, 16,
Sure.
maybe?
Yeah, about 16 years old.
About 16.
Not Gertrude. Molly is about 12 years old.
Oh yeah, because she's a little bit younger.
Yeah, so she's in the show. She's just going through her first menstruation cycle. She's just having her first period.
Yeah.
All the other ones are about 4 years, 3 to 4 years older than her.
That makes sense. Okay, so first one we introduce each of the characters.
Okay,
So we have Molly.
Yeah, Molly.
The adopted super strong one.
Yeah, well, you find out afterwards she's super
Later.
strong. Yeah, so you have Molly.
I forget her last name because she's adopted because her parents were killed years before in some accident. And that's all we're told in the show. And we find out later it's some kind of cover up. They weren't jiving with the rest of the members of Pride. And
Hayes is their last name. Yeah, so Molly Hayes. You have Gertrude
York. Yep.
York. So Gertrude York, Molly Hayes. You have Alex Wilder. You have
Nico
Minoru.
Yep.
You have.
Did you say Chase Stein?
Yeah, and then you have
Carolina. Forget her last name.
Carolina is
Jonah's daughter.
Dean. Yes,
Okay.
Carolina Dean.
And those are the main, six of them. But the Runaway group changes over the years. In the show, it's pretty much just the six.
That's right. That's right.
So in comics, it changes. Some characters come and go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
not drastically, but yeah.
Yeah. It's more so go, isn't it? They lose a boy and it drops down to the 5.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Sort
Okay.
of. We'll
get into that later.
We'll go over that.
Now, one thing we'll touch base on this later, but Topher. I got introduced to him at episode 4 and then kind of skipped past and didn't really learn anything more about Topher. So you'll have to fill me in when we get to that part.
Mm-hmm.
As far as...
He's quite a bit different too.
I would imagine, because the way I saw him using the powers... we'll get to that.
Yes.
So, with the kids, Molly's a little bit younger. Let's give them a little bit of a backstory as to why she's adoptive, where her parents are, how she's involved.
So when the show first started, you don't know why she's adopted, just that she is adopted. Mm-hmm. You later on find out it's because her... Actually, no, right in the first episode, she mentions that her parents were died, which is why
they died in some kind of accident. That's
right. And then she was adopted by the Yorks. Yes. So she's young. She's innocent. She's very kind. She's very giving. She's kind of like the heart of the team.
She's the soul of the team, you'd say.
Yeah. Catalina is a happy, smiley, valedictorian type girl.
She'd be most likely to be the cheerleader, most likely to be student council, most likely that girl.
Exactly. In the show, she's also very deep in her mother's religion.
Into the Pride cult.
Yeah. And
she wears her bracelet religiously.
Yep.
Which we find out is a key point.
That's right. Alex is Alex is the most average teen there.
He's your chess club advocate, like probably not on a lot of the sport teams,
No.
He's a computer junkie, very high ability to problem solve and just figure out what to do next.
Yeah. Nico is a goth girl, Asian girl.
Mourning the loss of her sister.
Yeah.
Amy?
Yeah. So
that's how the season starts.
Yeah.
Actually, everyone's kind of brought together with the death of
Amy. That's right. So in the first episode, you find out that Nico had a older sister named Amy who something happened to her, and whatever that tragedy happened, she died, and because of that, that's when their group of friends kind of disbanded.
Yeah, and her and Alex were supposed to be like the best of friends.
Yeah.
And that was when their falling out with Nico happened.
Yeah.
They all just distanced.
Yeah.
And so that's what brought them back together was the Pride Benefactor.
That's right.
And what do they end up finding there at the Pride Benefactor?
So every year, like I said, they got together because their parents are doing their their yearly charity meeting thing.
And it's at Alex's house, at the Wilder house, I believe.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this year, where they decided to get back together, they decided they're going to go exploring, and then they accidentally find the entrance to a secret hideout.
Yeah, in his dad's office.
That's right. So they go down this secret passage, and then they find out that their parents are actually robed in these like cult-like robes. Oh, yeah. And they are doing some kind of ceremony and looks to be sacrificing a teen girl.
Yeah, about the age of them. I forget the name of the girl, and they're sitting there in full blown red robes, looking like straight up cultists.
Yeah.
And they're all chanting, going around, putting her in the chamber, was it not?
Yeah.
And we find out later what this chamber does.
That's right.
Essentially, they put her in this chamber, and boom, ceremony, bright light, blah, and she disappears.
That's
gone.
right.
And they think their parents just murdered someone.
That's right. So they're just realizing now that their parents are not who they seem to be. Also, Molly ended up taking a picture, and that caught the parents' attention.
And the flash went.
That's right. The parents just dismissed it at first, but eventually they found out that the kids were there, and they saw what they did.
And then there was some trouble.
Yeah.
So for the next day, or maybe like 24 hours, 48 hours, the kids are freaking. They all go home. They all panic and get the hell out of there after they almost got caught.
Yeah.
And like you said, they kind of started piecing the puzzle together. They looked back on the footage, like someone's been here.
Yeah.
And we've been outed. So then they're kind of, it's a game of chess. It's a game of cat and mouse between the kids and parents, because it's like they all know, but they don't know that they know, and they're all on, ice, just edging around each other, asking those coy questions like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
I want that. I want to know that you know.
Yeah.
Because they all are curious.
Yeah.
But they can't prove it.
Yeah.
And it's like, these are my kids. These are my parents. How could it be?
Yeah.
And it's kind of that stun factor that's like.
As a matter of fact, I believe Nico and Alex even tried to go to the police about it, and that's when they found out that the police were actually under they're under the thumb of the Pride.
Meeting with Wilder's mom, the lawyer, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who is ruthless.
Yes.
She is far worse than his dad.
Yes. In the show. Yes.
I bet the dad's probably pretty bad in the comic.
Yes. We'll go over that.
They come from the street.
But yeah, not to go beat for beat on like every episode of the season, but
that's just basically the intro.
That's right. Yeah, just the intro. Each kid starts figuring out that they have different powers as well.
Yeah, things develop fast after that.
Yeah. So Molly finds out that she has superhuman strength. Every time she uses her strength, her eyes glow this like fiery orange, and she's like Hulk level strong, like list cards like they're nothing. And
she's supposed to be one of the strongest people ever in the entire Marvel universe.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far,
but very limited.
She's up there, very limited, because every time she uses her strength,
it depletes her.
It puts her in a comatose nap.
Yeah, she's like, I am Goku level hungry, and she needs to eat, and she crashes.
Yeah,
but at one point, she's lifted a creature larger than a skyscraper, like over her head. Like,
yeah,
just huge.
Yeah,
like, she's super strong.
Yeah, she's stupid strong.
Yeah.
Nico ends up. So after the kids find out that the parents. So in the first season, the parents ends up framing the death of this teenage girl on the kids. Because the parents find out that the kids found out about the parents.
Everyone finds out.
Yes.
The cat is out of the bag, and essentially that girl they saw get put into that chamber and disappear. She winds up on a beach.
Yes.
And then the kids realize, holy shit, our parents actually killed the girl, because they put two and two together. She didn't just disappear.
Yeah.
She's no longer missing.
Yeah.
They've killed her.
Yeah.
And that's when their shit really starts popping off. That's when they go to the police.
Yeah.
They're like, whoa, they can't help us. And that's when the parents realize, you know what? Kids aren't coming home, and now they think we're the bad guy. We got to bring them home. We got to force them.
Yeah.
So they put out the APB.
Yeah.
Right? These kids are now suspects.
In the murder of
this.
Yeah.
And so the way that they get around that was one of the points in the show I got to right before having to do my little 8 or 9 episode jump, was Darius. Wild Alex Wilder's father's old street associate.
Oh yes.
Basically, Alex had been hiding out and started working for him. Started earning a little side money, pushing some drugs, running some packages, whatever the hell he was doing. And during all this, Darius thought, you know what, I'm going to take my opportunity to get what's always owed to me. What his father chinched him out of in their partnership deals years ago, this deed to this construction site. And this construction site is a pivotal point in the entire plot because it's the big dig site that we find out about later. They essentially do a trade. He's like, oh, I got your kid. You know, come get your kid. I take the deed. Right after that happens, and, you know, the Wilders think, hey, we got our kid back. And Darius thinks I'm laughing. Alex's mom is waiting at the penthouse suite that the father just sent him to. Said, you know what, like, we're cool, we're even, everything's good, let's move on. Sent him to this, like, penthouse suite for him and his family, and she's sitting there waiting, and she's like, you know what, you're going to do one more thing for my son. I know, thank you. I know you just returned him one more thing. Same thing you did for his dad, I want you to take his murder charge. And puts two in him in the bathtub, and that's how they wrapped up that whole scenario.
That's right.
Right? They basically pinned the whole case on Darius. He killed the girl. He did this. He did that. Alex is home. Everyone's happy.
Yeah. Yes. It's pretty ruthless.
The mom is cold.
Yeah, she's pretty ruthless.
She is cold. She's like, my husband's loyal to you. He loves you. I don't love you. Fuck you.
Yeah. So, and what is the parents' goal in the show? What is the purpose of this sacrifice?
I don't need, like, they're trying to do it to appease Jonah.
Yes. And who is Jonah?
An alien.
That's right. So Jonah is this alien. He's the biological father of Carolina, whatever.
One of them.
Yeah. But anyways, and he's some kind of ancient alien who has given them different gifts, different powers, different advances in technology, different advances in intellect. He's given them riches and where the Wilders were not successful or rich, now they're billionaires and so on and so forth. When you first see him, he's like this decrepit old man, and then when they sacrifice a girl, now he's much younger again. He's revitalized.
He's basically sucking souls.
That's right.
Little fountain of youth juice boxes.
That's right.
Get these little runaway teens, and that's how they do it.
Yeah.
That's how they've done it for so many years, and they hit under the radar. This whole pride movement that we haven't really discussed who and what and why and how it operates. It all falls under this false pretense of a religion.
Yes.
That you spoke about Carolina's mother running.
Yes.
And Carolina's mother is actually, she's been with Jonah.
Yes.
And Carolina's actually Jonah's daughter.
Yes.
There's another guy in there, an actor I forget about. He heals.
Yeah.
He's supposedly her father, and
yeah.
we find out in the show, he finds out as well, that ain't true.
Yeah.
But all this operates under this false pretense of this religion.
Yeah.
And they get these runaways, street kids, nobodies, people that aren't going to be missed, loved, or looked for.
Yeah, homeless people.
And that's how they've done it for 15, 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Kid a year. Keep those juice boxes flowing to Jonah, and like he's just been sitting there sucking souls all this time.
Yeah, so he could remain alive so that they could do whatever they were doing in this dig site.
Yes, and at this dig site, what is going on? This thing's massive. It's like a giant field of property that they could put like a mall on. Yeah. And they're digging. They're just digging, like to the center of the earth. They're going to the other side. They're going to pop out in China.
Yeah. So they're digging down there, and then you find out later on that there's an actual alien spaceship down there. Jonah's remaining alien brethren are down there. But what was the reason that he had given them for the dig site? What was the purpose?
Tectonic plates or some energy source or something.
That's what it was. That's what it was, yes.
It's some kind of, some unlimited energy source.
Yeah.
And with this energy source, we'll change the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking change the world by unleashing aliens.
Yeah.
Energy my ass.
Yeah.
You're lying, Jonah. They got such a great sleazeball to play his role too. The actor.
Yeah.
It's the guy who played Doom in One of the first
Holy
two
shit,
Fantastic
that is
Four.
him.
It's Doom. Doom.
Oh shit, I didn't even realize that. That is him. I'm terrible with faces.
Oh, well, Jonas changes a little bit.
Yeah.
It depends on how many juice boxes you have that day.
Yeah.
He gets a little wrinkly.
It's just like how I've been watching the 100, and I found out one of the main characters in the 100 was actually Desmond in Lost. And I hadn't pieced that together until somebody had pointed out. I'm like, holy shit, that is Desmond from Lost. Cade.
I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clueless.
Yeah.
That one wins.
Yeah. But yeah, so one member of the Runaways we haven't talked about yet, Gertrude's best friend.
Oh, I was about to say, you talking about Dino?
Yeah, Old Lace.
Old Lace, the Velociraptor.
Yeah, genetically engineered dinosaur.
Yeah, this thing's freaking sweet.
Yeah,
basically found in her parents' basement.
Yeah, who turns out Gertrude has a telepathic link to Old Lace.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Come here, Dino.
Yeah.
Without saying a word.
That's right.
Right. Oh, and in the show, I don't think she realizes it yet.
Yeah.
Because in some of the early episodes, she keeps speaking.
Yeah.
To tell it what to do, and she doesn't realize yet she can just, and it does it. You know.
But when you know for sure about the telepathic link is when they send out this drone with some kind of virus or poison that infects Old Lace, and as Old Lace gets sick, Gertrude gets sick.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
All right, that's one way of finding that out. How well they're connected, right?
Yeah.
Body, soul, mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that thing is sweet because other than that, Gertrude doesn't really do nothing. She
No.
just has this awesome. She's like a ranger. She just has this awesome companion.
That's right. That's right. Chase ends up stealing some technology from his dad.
Blaster gauntlets.
Yeah, he had the Fistigons.
Fistigons.
Yeah, the Fistigons. So in the show, they're just gauntlets that gives them super strength.
No,
not super
there's
strength. The blasters. That's right.
They're essentially like an energy blast, kind of like Shocker.
Yeah. And he also has the X-ray goggles.
Yes, he's adept at creating technology. He's a mechanic of sorts that he learned from his dad.
Yeah.
Right? Not as good, but they work.
Yeah.
They work. It's usually his dad's projects. I think he's taken some of these ideas from.
Yeah.
Or his dad sat there and helped him, tweak it just right. And then he wound up using it on his daddy.
Yeah. And then Nico ends up stealing her mom's magic staff, the Staff of One.
Yes.
So this magic staff has the ability to cast any type of magic that she wants, but only once.
The limitation is she can only cast each spell once.
That's right.
So she can command that spell word. For instance, she can say wall, right? And a wall will form. She can say blockade, and a wall will form.
That's right.
She can't say wall twice.
That's right. She has to use a thesaurus to figure out different ways to say the same thing.
She has to become a word wizard.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's gotta at some point you just can't say nothing.
Yeah.
I've used up everything.
Yeah. Well,
start speaking different languages.
Well, that's what happens in this comic. In this comic, the Runaways end up meeting the Young Avengers, and a member of the Young Avengers is Vision, and Vision ends up teaching her how to say something in Latin.
So she can reuse everything she's ever used.
Yeah, just in a different language.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Now that unlocks the capabilities.
Yeah.
I like that. Now, because both her parents are essentially dark
wizards.
Yeah.
Well, right. In the show, her dad is some kind of computer master engineer. He engineered like this computer security software and this computer security company, really organization, and some kind of computer whiz.
But they're wizards.
Yes. Yes.
And martial artists.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see that in the finale as Nico's fighting her two parents.
Yeah.
They're not really holding back. They're holding back as much as you'd expect a parent to hold back.
Yeah.
And she's, fighting 2v1.
Yeah.
And the whole time she's fighting, they got her discombobulated with these little, pulse rays. that essentially discombobulates the shit out of her brain. She's like, I lump you when she's trying to say I love you. It's like she just can't speak right. So obviously that's gonna throw off anything she's trying to cast a spell with verbally.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a full-on combat.
Yeah.
Because she's sitting there with the staff, and without the staff, her mom's useless. Right? Like her mom's just she's an assassin essentially.
Yeah.
But she's fighting 2-on-1 and can't use any of her damn magic.
Yeah.
Essentially, they knock her ass out. They each give her a good smack. Or no, her mom gives her a good kick to the head. Nice roundhouse kick.
Yeah.
Boom, hits the floor. All of a sudden, eyes go black. Just boom. And they're like, uh-oh. And I think the dad's like, oh, I've seen this before. She just throws them back 30 some odd feet. Glass goes flying. Everything's breaking. Dad's got glass in the neck. Like, they're like, oh, what happened? Yeah. And I'm going to take a guess here because I don't know for sure. I'm guessing when. So, okay. We didn't get to this part yet.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about the hole in the construction site.
Yes.
There's a spaceship down there and a bunch of its brethren.
Yes.
Yeah, so they drop a big they drop a big construction truck down there and blow up everything.
That's right.
That hole is just blown to hell.
Yeah. It's presumably the spaceship as well.
That's what they thought. But it doesn't die.
Yeah.
There's what, four or five of them that get out.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking one possesses Nico.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was my guess. Wasn't sure. Who else got possessed?
Actually, no. Nico wasn't possessed by one of the others. It was just the parents that got possessed by the others.
Oh, okay. Because that was one of the conversations the parents were having. They're like, "Where's the last of us?
Yeah.
Could it be in one of the kids? Right? Because obviously it's like vessels. I'm thinking like supernatural angels here.
Yeah.
Stein's father is one. Jonah's in him.
Mm-hmm.
The York's mother, one's in her.
Yeah.
Nico's mom, one's in her.
Yeah.
We don't know where the fourth one is.
Yeah.
That was where the season ended.
Yeah.
Okay, so one's out there still missing, and then someone who's the black lady? She keeps changing into different people and popping up and scaring like Carolyn and his mother.
Do you remember her name? Because
I don't remember the name, for fuck's sakes.
Would it be Zabin?
Perhaps, I think, because there's the two races of aliens that we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
What are the two races of aliens' names?
So Catalina is a
Gaboramun?
No, she is a Glam.
Oh, is
Magisdanian.
Gabor is the name of their religion, isn't it?
Possibly.
I think that's the name of their religious cult.
Possibly, yeah.
Gabora.
But yeah, Magisdanians is the name of that alien race.
And that's what Jonah is.
Yes.
Okay, so what is the other alien race?
I don't remember.
Okay, I think those ones are like the Xanthars or something like that.
Sure, yeah.
We'll call them that for now. So I think that's basically everything I've seen almost to the end of season 1, almost the end of season 2. Basically how the construction site got blown up. There's a showdown between the kids and their parents. There's a little fight scene there. Jonah showed up.
Wrecked some shit.
Oh, Jonah started wrecking everything, yeah. And at some point, this construction, it was like a big, what the hell is it called? The concrete mixer. It was like a big concrete mixer got thrown down the thing, and everything just got...
Yeah.
And that's the deed to the site that Darius had got given and then got killed for. Mm-hmm. And what happens after that? So I'm obviously missing some stuff. I saw up to Topher. Who's Topher?
Topher in the show is just some kid who found some of the alien rock from the dig site, the same alien rocks that gave Molly her powers. But he found some, and he found a way to use them as kind of like a drug to give himself powers.
That's what I thought. He's kind of rubbing it into his skin and like sniffing it and just, injecting it, kind of.
Exactly.
Taking it any way he can.
Exactly.
He's just a street kid.
Yeah.
And we didn't really talk about it. So the Runaways, they've been surviving on their own.
Yeah.
Outside of their parents' reach, under the radar, doing shit.
Yeah. They found themselves a hideout
an underground mansion almost.
Yeah.
Basically fell through some old abandoned mansion.
Yeah.
And that's the hide. That's the hideout. That's where they're holding up. And what is their objective?
Their objective in the show was to right the wrongs of their parents. They haven't really evolved from that in the show yet, eh?
No, that's kind of why I'm like, what are they doing?
Well,
because I was trying to think, what do they do and what have they done? They've really just hit out and kind of gone back and forth to soup kitchens and gone back and forth to the Gabora religious
Molly
setting.
has gone out to fight crime.
She's the one.
Yeah.
She's the one so far that's been like, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna put this to use and I'm gonna go be the vigilante. And she's the only one that can, really.
Yeah.
But she's also the one that shouldn't.
Yeah.
On her own.
Yeah.
She's gonna go beat someone up and fucking wind up passed out at their feet.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
that was dumb.
Yeah.
Out of them, I'd say Nico is situationally the strongest.
Yes.
But situationally the weakest, because once.
Yeah. But she's like a glass cannon. More so than Molly, because Nico could finish a fight in one word, really.
Death. Die. Don't breathe. Suffocate.
Sleep.
Blind.
Paralyze.
Paralyze.
Forget.
Poison. Deteriorate, disintegrate, evaporate.
Yeah.
Go. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. Just as long as she hasn't used that one yet.
Yeah. Outer space.
Yeah. I'll go over some of those feats that she uses in the comics.
Yeah, I want to know some of her, like, go. Well, she wouldn't even have a go-to, because it's one-time use.
That's right.
Jesus, man. It makes for such an interesting character.
Yeah.
Because most characters, they have a kit.
Yeah.
And that's their playstyle, that's their fallback. Rinse and repeat. Use your kit. Use your kit. Use your kit.
It's got to be hard to write for as well.
That's what I mean. It's an ever-evolving character, and you have to remember, what have I used?
What is this character used? Because
what
usually...
have I said?
Well, it's more than that, because a comic book, a series of comic books won't always have the same writer.
No.
Sometimes it'll change writers. So the future writers needs to be aware of all the different spells that she's used in the past, but they can't use that same one again.
That's what I mean.
So it's got to be hard to write for her.
They got to just keep like an index of no-go words. Yeah. This one's no longer usable. This one's no longer usable.
Yeah.
We didn't really talk about it. When did we first get introduced to Marvel's Runaways, and what series, and what edition, and what comic, what year?
All right. So if we're going to jump into the comics, okay.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious, like, how long have they been around?
Of everything that we've covered on this show so far, they are the youngest in creation.
2002.
2002 or 3 was their first issue.
Yeah. Okay.
They were created by Brian K. Vaughan.
I was just thinking in the context of this. Imagine they were a Silver Age, a Golden Age.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine how many spells she would have used over the years and how limited her vocabulary would be these days. They would have just been like, fuck it. She loses her voice. Like, she's mute.
Yeah. Oh, and another important fact about this group, about this show, is that usually Marvel takes place in New York. This takes place in LA.
All of Marvel's usually New York?
Pretty much. With most of the writers, like Stan Lee, he's from New York, so he wrote about stuff that he's familiar with, which is New York.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So Stark Towers is in New York. Peter Parker is in New York. Captain America is from New York.
They're all big enough cities.
Daredevil is from New York. Thing is from New York. They're all from New York.
It's true.
Yeah.
They would have one hell of like a bowling league, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Trying to think of any other
notable things
to talk about the show. The show is excellent. If you haven't checked out Runaways on Hulu, check it out. If you don't have Hulu, find a way to get it. I don't want to advocate streaming, but I stream too. But it's a fantastic show. I really, really recommend checking it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and fill myself in for the 8-9 episodes I missed and get caught back up because now I got a lot of questions.
Yeah, like when I was watching Runaways, I have a lot of shows on the go, but when I was watching the Runaways was the only show I was interested in watching.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. It does make you kind of bond with the characters more than most shows do.
Yeah.
It's good for that. You know how like you can watch a show and you're like, I don't care about these characters. This makes you care a little more.
Yeah. All the characters are pretty likable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're intermingling relationships between each other. You can tell it's the teen angst, like the different infatuations, their impulses.
Yeah.
For instance, one thing I saw in the most recent episode I just watched that made me laugh. And it just seemed like, okay, that's so unrealistic, but it's realistic because it's a teenager. The kids are being hunted by their parents. They're literally in a parking lot with one of them driving down the street, about to pull in the parking lot and jump out the car and grab him. And she was too interested in talking to this new guy who she ran into, the other day at some place and was like, "Oh, what's your name? Like, I want to grab your name." And it was like, this little interaction was more important than whether or not she got away that day.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, juvenile stupidity. I give it to you.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was good though.
Yeah. Who was that again?
It was Gerd.
Okay.
It was Gerd and whoever the hell she was meeting with. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and there's also two major relationships that happen in the show. Three sort of. So Chase and Gertrude hook up in the show. That's accurate to the comics as well. And,
at a dance or prom or something.
Well, that's not accurate, but they are a couple.
Okay.
Alex and Nico ends up becoming a couple as well. In the show, they end up breaking up, and then Nico ends up a relationship with Carolina.
Yeah.
That one is loosely like the comics. I'll go over that in a minute.
There's more so a bi-curious thing in the comic, and they made it more of a...
No, less so, actually. Well, no, I'll go over it.
Okay.
I'll go over
it. We'll
cover it. But I just wanted to cover that as well, about those relationships.
Okay.
So, in the comics... All right, are you ready? All right, so, in the comics... first of all, when they sacrifice the teenage girl... they actually see Alex's dad stab the girl. So there's no ambiguity about it. They killed her.
Okay, so they took the questioning away.
Yeah.
I think because it was Hulu and because it was a pilot, they didn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Hulu is Disney? No?
Possibly?
Maybe. You guys.
It used to be owned by a bunch of different companies. So like Fox had a portion, Disney had a portion, CBS had a portion.
So they're playing safe.
But now Disney owns all of it.
Oh,
So,
Of course they do.
Funny how that happens, huh, Spidey?
It's part of a bundle too with Disney Plus coming out.
Oh, cool.
At Disney Plus coming at you soon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was kind of curious there why they would change that. But that makes a lot of sense if it's Fox and all those guys. Like, they're just keeping their hands clean.
To be honest with you, that's the smallest change compared to everything else.
Oh, I believe it. Well, do tell. What else?
All right. So first of all, there is no religion in the comics.
They got rid of the scapegoat.
Yeah. Yeah. There is no religion whatsoever.
Why are they doing all this? Fucking crazy religious.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Yeah. No. In the comics, the parents are actually doing this to appease these three gods.
That's way more believable.
These gods are called. One second, I got it. The Gaborims.
Okay. So yeah, the Church of Gaborum.
Yeah, well, the Gaborims are the gods, the three gods.
Yeah.
And the three gods are ancient gods from a time on Earth before there was civilization.
Not celestials, though.
No. And these gods, they want to bring the Earth back to a time of tranquility, back when they were ruling the world. So pretty much they want to wipe out all life on Earth. Excellent. And to do this, the gods needs these 12 parents to make a yearly sacrifice. One sacrifice each year for 25 years. Once they've done this, the Gaborians will have enough power to wipe out all life on Earth. And as a reward for doing this, 6 of the 12 will be allowed safe passage into this new world by the Gaborians. What happened was the Steins, Victor and Janet Stein. Janet got pregnant with Chase, and that complicated things now because now there's 13 of them. So what the parents decided to make a deal. rather than them 12 to fight over which 6 are going to survive this apocalypse. Each one will have a child, and their child will survive the apocalypse. They'll sacrifice themselves. So everything they're doing, sacrificing these teens, is for the kids to survive the apocalypse by the Gaborms.
And they know this apocalypse is coming whether they like it or not?
Yeah. Oh, no, the kids have no idea.
The parents, though.
Yeah, the parents do. The parents are quite aware.
Because if they don't do it, they'll find someone else who will.
That's right. Also, for the deans, Frank and Leslie.
Yeah.
Frank is her biological father. There is no Jonah. Yeah.
So they added Jonah in for spice.
Yeah.
Because they took away 3 gods. Why not throw in this guy?
Yeah.
That seems like such a trivial criteria.
Yeah.
Such a shit prerequisite.
Yeah.
1 a year for 25 years.
Yeah.
And then all powerfuls are unleashed and the world ends.
Yeah.
Just 1 a year, though.
Yeah. Yeah. 1 teenage girl a year. Specifically a teenage girl.
So trivial, though.
Yeah.
And then all hell breaks loose. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So just like in the show, the kids find out about this ritual. They try to go to the police about it. The police are under the rule of the Pride.
Yeah.
They end finding out about their powers. They end up stealing all those gadgets. Chase is not a genius in the comics. He's actually quite dumb. He's just a jock.
Okay.
He just steals that technology from his dad. And the staff of 1 is quite different as well.
More powerful?
Sort of. So the staff of 1. So what happens is when Nico's mom tries to stab her with the staff,
Absorbed into her.
She absorbed it into her, and now the staff comes out whenever she bleeds. She has to bleed to make the staff come out.
Oh, and then it comes out of the cut?
Well, it seems to always come out of her chest. That's the way they always draw it.
Okay.
Yeah, but...
And she needs the staff to cast power?
Yes.
Until later.
No, well...
Later in the comic, she...
Much later.
Yeah,
way
much
later.
later. She gains the ability to cast it with the staff.
Yeah. So, so far everything else is accurate. So, actually, sort of. So, okay, so you have Jeffrey and Catherine Wilder. They're both crime bosses. She's not a lawyer, and he's not a reformed criminal. They are criminal masterminds.
Ah, excellent.
All right. You have Dale and Stacy Yorks. They are actually time travelers from the 87th century, and Old Lace is from the 87th century. They genetically engineered that dinosaur in the 87th century, and when they travel back in time, they travel back in time with Old Lace.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You have Frank and Leslie Dean. They are alien invaders from Majestain. They're both actors in the comics. So there's, like I said, there's no religion. They're both actors.
It's just him who's the actor in the show.
That's right.
And Jonah makes a plug at it at one point. I wonder if there's more than one actor in the Dean family.
Yeah.
When he thinks she's lying to him at one point.
Yeah.
That's a plug at.
Yeah.
Right. I like that.
Victor and Janet Stein are inventors and mad scientists. That's pretty much the same.
Yep. Less so of her though. She doesn't do anything. In the
she
show.
does in the second season.
Oh, she started. Yeah, because he's kind of out of the picture.
Yeah, and she ends up working on that machine, and then she ends up getting that tablet, and she ends up translating that tablet.
Okay, so she does a little bit more.
Yes, she does a lot more in the second season.
So, yeah.
But in the comics, they're both mad scientists and inventors.
Okay,
awesome. You have Jean and Alice Hayes, which they're both telepathic mutants, and Molly doesn't get her powers from some space rock. She is a mutant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very limited mutant abilities. Shit.
No, super strength.
Super strength.
Yeah.
All right. Still okay.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah. And Robin and Tina Minoru are dark wizards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are a couple changes.
Yeah.
Most of it stayed pretty ideal. Or
Oh,
if
wait.
they.
Oh wait.
But wait, there's more.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more that's changed. So in the end of the first arc, so in the end of the first season, we talked about how they uncovered about the dig site. They end up destroying the alien spaceship with the cement mixer. They end up facing off with their parents. They get away, and then cut to season 2, right?
Yeah.
In the end of the first arc of the Runaways, near the end of it, Alex reveals that he's actually been working with the parents the entire time. So what you find out is that Alex, spoilers, by the way, if they ever use this in the show, this might end up being used in the show, so spoilers. But Alex, I doubt it, because they changed so much from the show.
They have Alex as a pissed off dude in the show. He was working with Daria. She was vibing on Livy.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think. Nah.
No. But in the show, what happened was, in one of their meetings, so there was no Amy. They never disbanded in the comics. So in the comics, one day, one of their yearly meetings, Alex got bored of all of them, and he wanted off, and he ends up finding out about their parents and what they're doing on his own. So he found out a year before everybody else did.
Oh my god.
So in that year, he did research on what their parents were doing, on what the Pride were doing, about the Gaborums, and Alex found himself actually agreeing with what the Pride are doing. He and their ideology. So he ends up, but then one day he ends up overhearing plans from the Deans and the Hayes.
Oh.
So the Deans and the Hayes were conspiring, since the Deans are aliens
and the other ones are mutants.
They decided to conspire with each other, because in this new future where all life has been wiped out, well, all these petty below us humans are so reliant on technology, they'll be useless in this future. Whereas us, we're not reliant on technology, so they band together. They're going to betray the rest of the parents, the rest of the families, and keep the 6 opening spots for those 4 and their kids.
Nice.
So Alex overhears this plan, so he concocts his own plan, he concocts his own plan to have the other kids find out about what their parents are doing, for them to run away, for them to, the entire thing that happens was all orchestrated by Alex. Alex is like a genius mastermind. And ultimately, Alex's plan is to make it so that the 6 surviving members are going to be his parents, Nico's parents, him and Nico. He didn't care about all the other ones. He just cared about Nico.
That's awesome.
So
because it's only 6, they're not letting all 12 kids.
That's right. Well, there's only 6 kids, but Alex doesn't care about the other 4.
6 kids, yeah.
He just wants him, Nico. He wants his parents, and he wants Nico's parents. So because fuck the aliens and fuck the mutants who are trying to betray his parents.
Fuck those guys, yeah.
Yeah. So at the end of the first arc, Alex reveals himself. He ends up stealing the fist of gaunts and stealing the goggles. He ends up stealing the staff of one, and he ends up finding a way to stealing Old Lace as well. So you actually see him with the fist of gaunts, the staff, the goggles, and Old Lace. Like he took them all out and stole all that stuff for himself. Reveals to Nico his plan, and she rejects him outright. And then when things go south and these gods find out what happened, they end up incinerating Alex. Alex is dead. And
that's why it drops to 5.
Yeah, and then the gods make the home base of the Wilders sink, and taking out all the parents with them. So all the parents are dead.
Okay, so all the parents are dead, minus Alex, and now it's just the final.
That's right. So now, after on the second arc, which will be the second season of the Runaways, they actually have a better purpose, because now their purpose is to stop any criminals from taking over the
Pride.
The gap that was left by the Pride.
Fill the hole, fill the shoes.
Exactly.
Complete the task.
Because while Pride were in power, Norman Osborn actually went on record and said that they are the most. Let me see. I wrote it down.
Because this is in L.A. Trying to think of
I know what Osborn called the Pride the most feared and dominant criminal organization on the West Coast.
West Coast.
Yes. So on the West Coast, there was no other criminal organization. There was no more supervillains or anything like that, because the Pride kept it that way. Nobody challenged the Pride's authority. So now that the Pride is dead,
that's 12 supervillains working together.
That's right. and with these super powerful gods on their side as well.
Yeah, no one else is going.
Yeah,
fuck with that.
You got two
That's the ultimate
wizards.
kingpin.
You got two time travelers with technology from the 87th century.
It's like Kingpin on League of Shadows level.
Yeah,
Like a lot of Kingpins all running it.
exactly. So, and then the Wilders have like the police under their payroll.
Yeah, the law and the police. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, nobody challenged
Can't
the
fuck with
Pride.
that.
No. As a matter of fact, 17 years before all of these events happened, there was an event. Something happened where Obadiah Stane, you remember him from the first Iron Man?
Mm-hmm.
So Obadiah Stane ends up outing Tony Stark from Stark Enterprise, and Tony Stark ended up moving to the West Coast. Mm-hmm. And when he went to the West Coast, he ended up starting his own company there. But while he was there, he's already known as Iron Man and whatnot, and Pride were nervous about that. They thought he was there for them. So they end up going after Tony Stark. They sent the Serpent Society after him. Tony Stark ends up fighting out the Serpent Society, finding it was the Pride. He ended up defeating Pride, put them in jail, but that didn't last long because the power that Pride has.
They pulled strings, got right the hell out.
That's right. So, and then Tony Stark ended up going back to New York, left his new company under the command of somebody else, and he made a deal with Pride. Listen, you don't touch this company, you leave this company alone, and I don't come back to the West Coast with all the superheroes that I am familiar with to come take you out.
He negotiated.
Yeah, that's how powerful Pride are, though. Is that, like, Tony Stark is aware of how rooted they are in the West Coast, and it would be a task and a half for him to actually be able to establish anything.
So permanently remove them?
Exactly.
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's like pulling Aquaman out of it. That's like pulling the Atlanteans out of the ocean.
Exactly.
Good fucking luck.
Exactly. Also, to speak on the level of the intelligence of the Steins, actually.
Oh, the Steins.
Tony Stark has actually commented on their ingenuity and their intelligence as well. He's recognized and applauded their ingenuity and their advances in
That's
technology.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Iron Man's had run-ins with Pride and with the Runaways, or just Pride?
Just Pride.
Just Pride, and then you said Norman Osborn
has made mentions of the Pride.
Of Pride, okay. Yeah. So is Pride and Runaways hand in hand? They kind of go hand in hand, or are they separate entities?
No, they go hand in hand because after their parents are all eliminated, there's a new incarnation of Pride, and then there's a third incarnation of Pride.
How many years of Pride have been completed of the 25 years? Because that's a really fucking easy goal to make. Does it have to happen on the same day, same time each year?
I'm unclear, and I don't think the future incarnations of Pride had the same goal as the first incarnation of Pride. Okay. I don't think the future incarnations of Pride were trying to appease the gods. I think the gods are pretty much out of the picture.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because I kind of wanted to know what the story tie-up with them was, where their origin came from. Yeah. I want to know more about them now.
So, the second incarnation of Pride are actually all members of a MMO game that Alex played. So they're all Alex's old friends.
Yeah.
But now Alex is dead. So they try to use magic to... First they research about Pride. They find out about the Minorus and find out some magical spells and try to bring Alex back, but they accidentally bring back a young Jeffrey Wilder back from a year after they first made the deal with the Gaboins.
They brought Alex's dad back.
Yeah. So
a year after making the deal.
That's right.
So like had he even done his murder charge yet, or is it just happened?
Well, the murder charge thing, that's like he's been in and out of jail.
It's just he's probably had a lot of those.
Yeah.
In the comics.
Yeah. So this is Jeffrey Wilder in his prime, pretty much.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Yeah. So
let's do it again. Round 2.
Yeah. So Jeffrey Wilder ends up taking over this version of Pride with these old friends of Alex's.
Brilliant.
And they end up going after the Runaways. So more spoilers. During this during this battle with this version of Pride, Alex's dad ends up stabbing and killing Gertrude right in front of Chase. And in her moment of death, she ends up transferring her telepathic link to Old Lace to Chase.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so Gertrude ends up dying.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's kind of an annoying character in the show.
I like her.
I like her because she's ballsy and she's in your face.
But she's preachy too.
very preachy.
Yeah.
And very hypocritical.
Yes. Yes.
That was the big thing that I found annoying. If you're gonna be the preachy bitch, you can't be the hypocrite too.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. You just can't be both.
Yeah.
Or else, like, one loses its kind of effect.
Yeah.
That was my only issue with Gertrude. Other than that, yeah, she's a strong character.
Yeah.
Like, at one point, her and Molly, they're having a discussion when the parents are running around chasing for him in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I'm supposed to be the big sister. Why are you the strong one? And she turned back, Molly looking at Gertrude, and said, "What do you think I learned it from?" Like, I learned it from you. Like, you're the one with the strength, the real strength. I'm the one with the powers.
Yeah.
You have strength. Which is kind of like, it was like a touching little moment. It was like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, I like those interactions.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Molly.
Molly's because she's sweet, she's innocent, and she just wants to get out there and rough things up.
Yeah. So before Gertrude's death, Chase was pretty much the comic relief of the group.
It makes sense.
After Gertrude's death, he ends up going slightly insane. He ends up he wanted to go see the Aborans to sacrifice himself to bring Gertrude back. The rest of the Runaways ends up stopping him from doing that. Before Gertrude's death, though, there was this one moment where Gertrude from the future ends up traveling back in time and telling the group about this supervillain that she ends up facing in the future called Victorious.
Oh.
That ends up betraying her and all of them, and ends up wiping out all the superheroes on Earth. So she ends up telling the Runaways to go find this Victor Mancha.
Okay.
All right. So they tell them to go find Victor Mancha, and Victor Mancha. So when they go find Victor Mancha, they find out he's actually a really nice kid. But then you find out that Victor Mancha is actually the son of Ultron.
The son of Ultron?
Yeah. So he's got a human mother, and so he's a hybrid robot. And he was created by Ultron to be a sleeper agent, to join the Avengers, and then eventually wipe out the Avengers. When Victor and the Runaways find out about this, they end up defeating Ultron, defeating the programming, and Victor ends up joining the Runaways.
What?
Yeah.
How the hell do they beat Ultron?
Well, when you have Nico's staff of one, and
I guess magic versus an android.
yeah, and also
shut down.
And also, Victor himself is really powerful. He's got
Well, imagine.
He's got, well, aside from being super strong from being a robot, but he also has electrokinesis, and technokinesis.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's pretty strong himself.
Yeah, son of Ultron, probably.
Yeah. Oh, they all have had nicknames that they all didn't last long. I think like for one issue.
Yeah.
But, Alex is the only one who never got a name.
Well, he's the only one that has no powers, no nothing, no bonuses, no sidekicks, no tech.
Yeah. So Chase is Talkback.
Talkback?
Yeah.
That's such a shitty name.
Yeah. Carolina is Lucy in the Sky.
What?
Yeah. Oh, and going back to Chase real quick, the Fistigons actually have the ability to control and manipulate fire. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So Carolina is Lucy in the Sky, which when she starts doing her rainbow glowing here, like, no, not that one. That one. She looks like an LSD trip. And Lucy in the Sky with diamonds, LSD. So Lucy in the Sky.
I get it.
Yeah. Gert, she got the name Arsenic. I don't know why.
I was gonna say why.
I don't know why. And then Victor Mancha becomes Future.
Victorious for Future.
in the future, but they end up stopping that future. But he's always afraid that might actually come to pass.
Oh, so it's like a self-doubt, self-fear thing.
Yeah. And Malia has gone through 2 nicknames. She was first Bruiser.
I like that one.
I like the other one better. Princess Powerful.
We're gonna stick with Bruiser.
But all of those names don't stick.
No. It's kind of the same thing with their costumes. None of them rock costumes. They're all street kids. They're all your blend in. They're all your Clark Kent superheroes without the wardrobe change.
That's right. Matter of fact, in these where they're team up with the Young Avengers, they actually make fun of the Young Avengers because they're all wearing like
nice leotards. How's the spandex feel?
Pretty much.
Got a wedgie?
Pretty much. Well, because they all look like superhero cosplayers.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Because they're all the Young Avengers. They're all the half pints and stuff.
What's being asked there?
Oh. Nothing yet.
All right.
Nothing yet. We're waiting on questions from the audience here.
All right. So okay. So something. Okay. So things happen. They end up disbanding. Let's start off with Chase Stein. So the team. They end up finding this all-terrain vehicle that is sentient. That was also created by Chase's parents. He ends up calling it Leapfrog, and he ends up being the team's pilot. He's the one who pilots Leapfrog.
Okay.
Leapfrog has like a stealth technology. Could shoot missiles and lasers.
Okay.
Could go underwater. Can fly.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Leapfrog's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're very childish. Like the Runaways. Everything about the Runaways is very kiddie.
Yeah.
Like from their names to the fact that they're like 13 to 16.
Yeah. So there was this one moment where a unmanned drone ends up attacking their base, ends up destroying their base, and in this attack, it seemingly killed Old Lace, putting Chase into further depression. Because now he just lost the last
There goes
attaching.
There goes Old Lace. There goes my parents. There goes everyone.
Yeah.
But she wasn't dead.
You eventually find out. They eventually find Old Lace. She's still alive. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Once they've disbanded, they've somewhat disbanded. There was this event in like 2010s called. I forgot what the event was called, but there is this villain called Arcade.
Arcade?
Yes. Arcade, he's been a little known villain. He's been a villain of the X-Men, he's been a villain of the Avengers, been a villain of Spider-Man.
Can't say I've heard of him.
Yeah, he was a villain in the old video game Spider-Man and the X-Men from like Super Nintendo or the original Nintendo.
That's the old one. That's the old one.
But Arcade, he's always has the same MO. He creates this gigantic, larger-than-life murder world, and he puts superheroes in there and forces them to try and get out alive with all these hidden traps, these arcade-themed traps,
and how does he create this world? Is it
just
like
technology? It's not really ever explained. He's never really a villain that's taken seriously. Arcade has never been successful at doing anything. He never wins.
So he's a try-hard fail.
Yeah. But anyways, in this event, Arcade ends up kidnapping 12 teenage heroes, and of those 12, Chase and Nico are one of those that are kidnapped.
Oh, okay. And so what does he do?
Into this murder
he puts them all in the murder world, and they had to basically fight their way out, kind of Running Man style.
Exactly. Well, actually, this one here was very much Hunger Games.
Oh, Hunger Games style. Y'all gotta fight each other. Awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, jeez.
So in this, like food is very scarce. So Nico ends up finding a spell to create this high protein fruit that tastes better than any food anybody's ever tasted before. So they end up using this food as currency, and end up making alliances with other teens. But then this one technomancer teen ends up deciding that she's going to be the supervillain of this story arc. Because Arcade, the reason why he's doing this, he wants to televise all of this on YouTube. So this technomancer ends up creating this gigantic mech, and she ends up being the supervillain trying to take them all out.
So it's gotta be somebody, right?
Yeah. And turns out this chick also has a twin brother who they share bodies. And the twin brother is actually completely innocent. He doesn't want anything to do with this. So when the teens are discussing how to take him out, Chase suggests, well, why don't we just fucking kill her? That solves everything. That saves all of us. But then Nico totally against that because the twin brother, he's completely innocent. He's kind. We can't just kill her. So they end up banishing Chase out of the group because he was so adamant on trying to kill this girl.
Fucking kill her.
Yeah, and then while he was on his own, he ends up finding this gem ends up being the armor of Darkhawk.
Darkhawk.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you have a
I
card of him.
do know which one Darkhawk is. He's got like the white thing, blue helmet,
with the wings,
suit.
and claw, and So he ends up finding Darkhawk's armor, and he ends up putting it on. But as he put it on, the main villain is a technomancer, so she ends up taking control of Chase in this Darkhawk armor, use them as a puppet, and attack the team, and ends up killing Nico. So how he ends up killing Nico is that he ends up chopping her arm off, and ends up launching her like miles away, kind of thing. Now, here's the thing, though, is that he cut off her arm, which means she's bleeding a lot, and she gets her power from blood. So the staff of one ends up getting all this power from all this blood, revives her, and ends up giving her this mystical arm, and she is now more powerful than she's ever been. Comes back, kicks ass. Arcade ends up getting defeated from behind the scenes, not even by the teens. Like somebody else ends up defeating Arcade.
Oh, jeez.
They get out of Murder World. And
what happens to Chase?
They make up. Yeah.
Sorry for killing you.
Yeah. Well, she never blamed him. She knew it wasn't him.
Oh, it's okay.
And then the actual owner of the Darkhawk armor ends up, he wasn't dead, he is still alive, so Chase ends up giving the armor back to them.
And who's Darkhawk? Do we know where?
Yeah, Darkhawk is, I've read a few issues of Darkhawk. He's been here and there kind of thing. He's been a member of the Secret Defenders.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's just a relevant guy.
Yeah, with some pretty cool powers. He's got a pretty cool armor.
Yeah, I just thought it was kind of random how he just randomly find this armor in this murder world.
He's kind of like he reminds me of Jaime Reyes' Blue Beetle.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
So wow.
Yeah.
Comics are a lot different than the show, and there sounds like a lot of shit we're not going to see.
Yes. So one more member I need to talk about is go back here. Zavin. So Zavin, the alien betrothed to Carolina, is actually a Skrull. A super Skrull.
No way. A super Skrull.
Yeah.
What's a super Skrull?
A super Skrull is a Skrull that has various powers. Like the first super Skrull, Clerk, has the power of all the Fantastic Four. He has like the super strength and the rock form of things, super strength, stretchiness of Mr. Fantastic, invisibility and invisibility force fields of flame on, flight, super speed. Oh. Yeah. So he's a super Skrull, and he was assigned to be betrothed to Carolina to make peace between the two
races. Worlds. Yeah, you saw that at the start of episode 13. It's the last one in season 2. You see, and it's like illustrated drawing.
Yeah,
and it shows the communion between the two, and they were sent to bond and form a union and have peace.
Yeah. So Carolina and Nico never develop a relationship in the comics, but Carolina is does profess her love to Nico, but Nico is not gay, so she didn't reciprocate.
She's like, no, thank you.
So when Zavin shows up, he tells her that he's betrothed to her, but Carolina tells him that she doesn't swing for his side of the fence. So he just turns himself into a girl. And so now they're a couple.
I was wondering why the Skrull in the show was appearing as a girl. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So I was like, what's going on?
Skrulls are pretty much unisex, I think. They could be any
think
sex.
You're right. Yeah.
So I think some might have a preference of one sex over the other, but really they have no.
They just make it work.
That's right. That's right.
I feel it.
Yeah. And there's also one more member I need to talk about before we wrap this up.
We're almost done here. Covered a lot.
Yeah, oh yeah. So after the death of Gertrude, and shit happens.
Lots of shit.
They end up the Runaways ends up getting becoming under the employ of the Kingpin.
No. What?
Yeah.
How?
I'm not quite sure, but
as good or bad?
Neutral as Runaways. So Kingpin.
Don't let Punisher hear about that.
So Kingpin ends up using the Runaways to try and retrieve this artifact from the past. So they have to go get this other artifact that travels them back to the 1908. In 1908, they find this girl named Kara Prest, who has the ability to control plants. And in there, they find out, how the Yorks are time travelers. Well,
yes.
The Yorks were actually in this time period as well. They end up facing up with them. And here's this one moment that I want to talk about that showcases the power of Nico. So Nico had already used a spell to wipe the memory. So when they end up defeating Jeffrey Wilder, she ends up putting Jeffrey Wilder back to his proper time and use a spell to make him forget everything that happened. So she's already used that spell. She can't use that on the Yorks in this past.
No.
So what she ends up doing is that she ends up using a spell. She said the show must go on. So since she can't wipe their memory, what happens is that everything has to play out as it is. They're going to continue on forth knowing that their daughter is going to die, but unable to say anything about it, unable to stop it, unable to do anything about it. They just know it's going to happen, but they can't do anything to prevent it from happening.
The show must go on.
That's right.
That's a great spell.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, huge differences between the comic and the show. But the show is showrun by Brian K. Vaughan, who is also the creator of the Runaways comic.
Okay.
So
it has a lot of feel back to the original story then.
Exactly.
Good.
It pretty much has his stamp of approval because he's part of the creative process for the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So covered a lot more than I thought there today.
Oh, yeah.
Considering I missed half of the second season here.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on with the Runaways.
Yes.
And like we said, they're a fairly new group, so we might see a lot more years of them to come.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They were critically acclaimed comics, so they're going to remain popular for years to come.
Yeah, they have that realistic feel.
Yep.
They're not all super-powered aliens.
Yep.
Right? A bunch of them don't even have powers. They're Iron Man techies.
Yep.
And Batman wannabes. And
any team who has ever disagreed or with their parents will feel a connection to this team.
Sometimes you know they want what's best for you, but you just don't want to hear it.
Hell, when I was 17, 18 years old, all I wanted to do was rebel against my parents. Even though I had the best parents ever, I couldn't ask for better parents. Every teen has that phase where they need to rebel against their parents.
Yeah.
And that's where that connection between the reader and the comics are going to find.
Absolutely.
And the watchers in the show as well.
Yeah, and it's kind of like they hit their breaking point here. And I remember when I was 19, it was with my mom. It was like, you either move out, or you start doing things this way. And it was like, you know what? I'm just sick of doing things your way. I'm move out.
Yeah.
And same thing for them. They're sick of hearing it their way, regardless of what was going on.
Yeah.
We're not jiving with you guys. We know you guys got an end game goal here, but it's not for us.
Yeah.
It wasn't for Alex.
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, definitely relatable.
Yeah.
Good group of guys and girls, girl dominant group, which is another unique thing. It's usually a bunch of guys, and you got the odd chick hanging out there.
Yeah. After Alex dies, Nico does take over as leader of the group.
Yeah, because he's the de facto leader, being the big brain. So that's odd. Nico's a natural second.
Yeah, because she's more mature.
Mature and feisty.
Yeah.
Feisty.
Yeah.
So next week, who are we doing here? We got Galactus?
No, we're doing the Riddler.
Ooh, the Riddler. All right, so keeping it DC, and we're going green.
No, going to DC. Runaways of Marvel.
Yes.
Iron Man.
Yes. Irrelevant of today. I meant to roll back to DC.
Yes.
Yes. So we'll have some green question marks coming at you guys next week.
Yeah.
And maybe some clues and riddles along the way. And yeah, stay tuned with us. Tell your friends. Don't forget to hit that follow and subscribe button. And we will see you guys all next week. Reruns starting probably 6:30. And show goes live at 8.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Have a good night.